Alright, so pretty hard video to make due to the fact that I actually liked the first game. Dying Light 1 was a game that I would say I actually put some time in and I actually liked the game. And that's super weird for me because it's like I don't really play AAA games. You know me, I play freaking trash like Minecraft and stuff like that. But Dying Light was a game that kind of caught me for a while. I liked the parkour system. The combat was really fun. It was punchy. I liked the whole aesthetic. And then Dying Light 2 came out. I saw the trailers like about a year ago, and I was like really hyped for it. So it came out, and playing on the Series S, we got some issues. That's just rubbing the surface. The game does not even come close to me, honestly, when it comes down to Dying Light 1. Dying Light 1, I put 22 hours in. Dying Light 2, I put 4. Now, let me explain what my big issues with it are. Alright, first off, let's get it started with the good things. Graphics, playing on the Series X, I need to emphasize this. I played on the Series S. I switched over to the Series X and tried to play it. Significantly better experience. However, on the Series S, honestly, I prefer the graphics of Dying Light 1 than I do Dying Light 2. Dying Light 1 feels more like a AAA game to me than Dying Light 2 does. Dying Light 2 feels unfinished. It feels like it was rushed. Art style, aesthetic, I don't like it really much. Dying Light 1 had a very close-to-home, realistic, gritty art style that I really liked. And the second one got like a real cartoony Fortnite vibe to it. And it really kind of just took away from the original like message that the first game tried to put on the player when you got in. Especially during the night. Like, instead of getting chased by those big suckers like the volatiles, they don't really come out at night until you get into the later chase levels. So, it's like, it's more emphasized that you go out at night than... Like, pretty much there's no fear in the game whatsoever. And just the whole aesthetic, graphics-wise, the first one, graphics-wise, let me just put it like this, on the Series S, the first one wins, in my opinion. Because of the art style, I think Dying Light 2 on the Series S looks worse than the first game. And controls... The parkour is better. The parkour was revamped. However, the controls feel kind of floaty. And it's weird. Like, the movement's just kind of... It's kind of janky. It's weird. Combat? Look, when I first got into my first fight with the human enemies, that was awesome, man. Like, that was really well done in that area. But you start going outside into the open world, and then you start fighting the human enemies, and then the flaws started to come through to me with the whole combat system. I don't know, I think the blood is a little off. I think they take, like, the impact mainly. My biggest problem with the combat, like, in every sense of the word, I didn't know how important it was, but sound design. Sound design is so important to me, and... Like, it feels like you're hitting them with a pillow in this one. It's like, in the first game, you knew clearly they were getting hit with a pipe. They were getting hit with a sharp object. You'd cut them in half and crap like that. Second game, there's, like, no differentiation. Like, the knife sounds, maybe there's a little slight slash sound effect. My dad says it's more realistic, but it's like, I think there's a point to where a game can be realistic and then too realistic. And then we should stray away from that and we should go to a middle point to where it's realistic but it's fun. And Dying Light 2's combat, doesn't feel as punchy as the first one. It's very, like I said, with the controls being as floaty as they are, and just the enemies taking, like, just the impact is so weird. just the combat ended up feeling unfinished to me. A big example of that is when you kick a zombie and there's the spikes, and they get stuck there and impaled. That's not in this game. They just kind of fall on it. If you kick a zombie off a rooftop, they just fall off like a cartoon character. It's a, it feels unfinished. It feels like the experience I'd be getting out of a game that you would get off Game Pass from a fan game developer. It doesn't feel like a AAA title. It feels like an indie game, and I don't like that in terms of a actual game. So
it is an indie game.
It is an indie game, but it's a sequel to a game that was already so good in the beginning.
Man, scoot your ass over, man. Clear, concise. I feel like you get your thoughts out there well. Talk to me about bugs. You said on Twitter there was bugs every 2 seconds. Talk to me about that.
Okay, so like one of the shining examples of it, it's not even like really bugs in general. It's more or less just like the game's just so stuttery. And it's like maybe it's because I was hitting them off the ledge and then they just kind of fell off like the cartoon characters do. And they don't even tumble off. That I thought that was a bug. So it's like some of the minor things that just they didn't really polish felt like bugs to me. So like me saying that it was like a crazy amount of bugs was definitely an exaggeration. But I did run into a few of them. One of them was this time where I was playing with Dad, and then I hit a zombie. He disappeared, and then I was hitting another guy, and then he teleported behind me, and then locked me into like some sort of biting animation. It was it was weird because he just vanished and then respawned. Like there's also like multiple cases of you killing a zombie and then him standing in his idle pose for whatever reason.
Yeah, I
don't know why that happens.
Yeah.
Just
it's a glitch. Yeah. Co-op is broken.
Yeah, co-op is it busted?
On the Xbox. The last time we tried to play it, booted us 3 times.
Oh yeah, so that's another thing. Yeah, we were in the middle of playing, and then we got booted off, and it wasn't like how it is in any other game. You just get on, and we kept trying to invite each other. The game wouldn't let us.
Yeah.
Also, no crossplay. So I can't even play on the Series X when I'm playing with my dad, so I have to play on the Series S with that pitiful performance.
So, was the Series S... let's get sidetracked for a minute. Was the Series S a mistake? Is this because you say it's much more playable on the Series X?
Yes.
But I even told you when I go to work, you can just use the Series X. You still didn't want to play it.
That's because look, the Series S version was a huge mistake to me, and me playing that Series S version, it makes me not want to play the X version. Like it just to me now, it's just rooted into my head that this was just a sequel from a company that just wanted to make money.
Okay, now look. I'm going to give you a different video for Dying Light 2. I'm still playing it. I got 10 hours in. This is his video. Now, understand, there's little upgrades you can get, and with each upgrade, it's much slower than Dying Light 1 progression. This is much more RPG style, than like action open world game like the first one. Like I I unlocked the Power Strike. That's where you hold R, and then boom, you can whap him. Whap him? Not as punchy? Check this out.
You're mine. Order up.
So, I saw that, and it's a super good clip. That is a very good example of the game's physics, and that's also a very bad example showing me that it has so much potential, so much stuff and care that actually went into the game just for them to release it too early. That was such a good clip. He went flying, the physics were awesome.
Yeah,
that's
it
how
makes you feel powerful
that's how
too.
the gameplay should be.
Right.
But it doesn't feel like that half the time. They when you hit a guy, it's like sometimes they'll just bounce around like this and judder around on a ledge. It's weird, man. Like, it just doesn't feel... The combat doesn't... With the floaty controls And not to mention, here is my biggest problem with it. Power Strike, I understand after playing Dying Light 1, was an actual upgrade in the first game. However, my problem with it is the progression system is much slower.
Way slower.
So
Way
you
slower.
have to spend, how much time do you got?
10 hours.
About 10 hours.
Yeah.
Then you can finally get a Power Strike.
What did I have? 6 upgrades in 10 hours?
6 upgrades in 10 hours.
Yeah, that's pretty bad.
That's I think ridiculous.
I have that many upgrades in Dying Light 1 in 90 minutes on PC.
Yeah.
I got 62 hours on the PS4 in Dying Light 1. In 90 minutes on the PC version, just getting some comparisons, I had 6 upgrades. Like good upgrades. I can slide. I can leap over a zombie. I still can't do that in Dying Light 2. Yeah. So it is much slower. So the Series S, you think, ruined the experience for you?
Series S
So
absolutely.
you're just
ruined it
closed
for me.
off to it now. You don't even want to.
After
try
playing
to
the
play.
Series S versions, pretty much gave me PTSD of Dying Light 2. It's like, just avoid it. Like, this game was just made, it was rushed, and just thrown at us.
So, how do you feel about the Series S now? Was the Series S a mistake?
The Series S, I don't think is a mistake. I think the Series S runs perfectly fine. It doesn't do anything graphically that releases any like upgrades, but if you play like Call of Duty Modern Warfare, you can definitely see 60 frames, unlike how it was in the X, or like a very stuttery 60 frames, I think it was.
The Xbox One X.
Yeah.
Right.
So playing on the Series S, I don't think it was a mistake at all. I think the Series S is a really powerful, tiny little console. It was
But
a
the
really,
GPU isn't even as strong as the one in the Xbox One X. That's why the Xbox One X is running a higher resolution. There's a game that just recently came out that's running a higher resolution at 60 FPS than the Series S. I want to say it was Back for Blood. I could be wrong. It's a Digital Foundry video. That's kind of unacceptable. Why is a last generation console running a game better than the next generation console?
you also need to understand that it also costs less.
It's a budget console. It's a budget console.
So it's like they released the Series S for almost like half the price of the
Mm-hmm.
X.
So explain this to me, okay? We're going to cut this out, okay? I don't want to drag on too long about this. I feel like your thoughts were well organized. People are still going to hate because, you know, a lot of people out there like the game. They feel like you should put a certain amount of time into a game, but you've already lost interest. And I've told him, I'm like, come on, man, let's just hit up some co-op. And he's like, I'm not doing it. I don't even want to play anymore. So my final question to you is this. Why do you spend crazy amount of time on Roblox or Minecraft, games that look like absolute trash, games that have terrible controls, but yet a game like Dying Light 2 will come out and you wash your hands of it after 4 hours because of the issues that you've been having?
Well,
Explain that one.
it's like, alright, so you already know how I just brought up the fact that the Series S is a budget console, yeah?
Right.
So it's like, yes, that performance is unacceptable, and the Series X, not the Series X, the Xbox One X, should not be running anything better than the Series S is.
Mm-hmm.
However, it is half the price. And that is how I kind of look at things. I'll hold things
It's not
to
half
a-
the price. The Xbox One X
Yeah,
was
it's about
400.
like, what, 200 less?
It was, no, the Series S is $300.
So it was like $100 less.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
$100.
to be having better performance for most games.
Right.
Like the Far Cry 5, I'll bring that up again. That performance on the Series S over the X is astounding.
Mm-hmm.
But
Yeah, because it's 60. It's only 30 on
that's
there.
like that's the best 60 frames I've felt in like a while.
Mm-hmm.
And so I hold things to a different standard. And when it comes down to a game that was so good, like Dying Light 1, for the sequel to come out and be so bad in comparison to what the first one was, I feel like it's absolutely foreshadowed, and I don't feel like a company that made such a good game as Dying Light 1. You already know how hard it is to hook me. And for a game like Dying Light 1 to come out, like an established developer already, and then to make a sequel for 5 years, for it to not be even as good as the first one, to look worse on the Series S, I just think...
I hear you.
and then it's like Roblox games, it's like at least it's made by developers, like, it's made by kids. I play it with my friends, and it's like these people, like, are making business off of just your home laptop. They don't need Unreal Engine, they don't need Frostbite, any of these crazy engines. They're just working on Roblox Studio. So it's like, at least I can hold that to a different standard than what I can a AAA developer.
I got you. So, they patch it, co-op starts working again, I put in more time, I review it, I end up loving the game. I don't know, you know what I mean? It's hard to tell at this point. The game has issues, no doubt about it, but there's also lots of potential there. And the parkour is significantly better. So I put in more time, game turns out to be really, really good. Like, we still got to unlock the grappling hook, I still got to unlock the paraglider. So there's more abilities that I got to get. So you see some gameplay that looks tip-top. They patch it, they fix it, co-op's working. Because you know this developer, man, they supported Dying Light 1 for what, 7 years? They supported that game for a long time.
I saw, like, I was playing, like, maybe a month ago or something. It was still, like, it still had, like, microtransactions.
Dying Light 1 does?
No, like, actually, you know what? No, it wasn't microtransactions. It was, like, let me put it differently. This developer was still making stuff. Like, there was still stuff in the message of the day and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's what. Yeah, they still support the game. That's
like,
my whole point. That's awesome to support a game after that amount of time. There's no question this developer loves their product and they want to support the player. Yeah. So, the game gets patched up. It ends up being really, really great. You gonna go back to it?
Yes. Like I said and stated before in this video, this game has crazy potential. Like, once I first got into the combat, dude, that was freaking awesome. Like, you're in the middle of just stabbing somebody and then their head just gets sliced off. You can kick it on the ground. Mm-hmm. And it's like the head's a separate part of the body. You can cut off arms in the middle of it. I feel like blood splatter especially, it's got such potential.
We're dying. Yeah, we got to get you a Series X, dude. Plain and simple. Got to get you a Series X. Series S ain't going to cut it. I still can't find them nowhere. But that's all we got for you, man. Battery's dying. We will holler at you guys. Good video, man. Good video. I like it. Well-organized thoughts. Good job. Let me know what you think. We'll holler at you.